meets two beautiful blue orchids one night.
Hey, this is Art Chadwick of Chadwick Orchids. Today we're going to be talking about lady slippers, or Paphiopedilums. Say that 3 times. This is one of the strangest flowers in the entire orchid family, and yet it's the perfect companion plant for Phalaenopsis because they both like low light. Look at these guys. These are called lady slippers, or Paphiopedilums. This is a low-light plant. These are related to the lady slippers in the Virginia woods, in the pine forest, the endangered species. They come in pinks and yellows, they bloom in spring. You're not allowed to dig them up. You're barely allowed to look at them. Just take a quick peek and look away. That's how rare they are. These are tropical. These are bred for home environments. They're originally from the floor of the rainforest, where it's dark and damp, so they do still need that. They still need to be on the low light side of things and watered a lot, maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. Never sitting in water because they need to breathe, they're epiphytes. But it has to be low light. And one of the fascinating aspects of the Paphiopedilums is that they're only grown from seed. Scientists have never figured out how to clone them. These Oncidium hybrids are cloned. They developed a good one, and then they were able to mass produce it in a laboratory so that everyone can have this perfect show. They still take 4 or 5 years to bloom from the cloning stage. And it's very high tech. You can't do this at home. Laboratories with microscopes, spinning wheels, a lot of equipment. The lady slippers can only be grown from seed. Even though they can put people on the moon, they can't figure out how to clone lady slippers. So for now, they're from seed. This box of 3 could very well be from the same seed pod. It's a family portrait. 3 brothers. And you can see some have a little curlier petals, some a little darker, taller. The foliage is fascinating on the lady slippers. These 3 all have different foliage, but it's a sort of a mottled look. It's absolutely gorgeous. There are entire groups that just grow lady slippers, the Paphiopedilum members clubs, because you can get 30 or 40 or 50 on a windowsill. They don't take up any space at all. Look at the tiny little pots. Big plant, little pot. It's true across the board for all orchids. It is beautiful, rich foliage, and then once a year, maybe twice, this bud appears and then poof, the flower. It will always be this color. Whatever blooms the first time will always be that every year after that. It's nice to have a label in every orchid so you know the botanical name in case somebody asks you. There's nothing worse than somebody calling up and saying, I'm having trouble with my orchid. I said, oh, tell me about it. Well, it's white. Okay. But if you could say, well, it's a blah, 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 blah. It's a Paphiopedilum raisin pie. Oh, okay. Now I understand. The lady slippers only bloom on their newest leaves, just like the Oncidiums and the Cattleyas. The old leaves never bloom again, and they often fall off. But you can get this clusters of leaves. If you have multiple clusters, you can get multiple flowers. They grow very well grouped, like in a container like this. Low light the whole time. And this room is considered low light, except for the front window where you might have west-facing sun. You'll never get any sun in here. This is perfect for a low light plant. The shape of a lady slipper is a little different than other orchids. You have this pouch thing. Pouch thing. That's a botanical term. What function does the pouch thing possibly do? Any ideas?
Pollination of seeds or something.
Pollination, yes. But it looks like it could trap water in it for periods of drought. It looks like it could do that, and it would. If water gets in there, it'll fill right up. But you don't want it to do that. It also looks like it might eat something, like a Venus flytrap, as many of the other plants in the jungle do. You know, a bug goes in there and just gobbles it right up. But that's not the purpose. It is entirely for pollination. There's a certain fly that finds this lady slipper pouch sexy. Once again, I've never seen it, but I'm not a fly. The fly goes in there, bounces around, and catches the pollen on his back. Then he flies over to the next lady slipper and then cross-pollinates it that way. And this little top piece is called a dorsal sepal. It's designed to hang over the pouch just enough so that when it rains, it won't fill up the pouch. Where do they come up with this stuff? Interesting enough, Orchid Society judges like to see this piece straight up when they judge them for quality. But the plant itself actually wants it down so that it can perform its functions. Because lady slippers are all grown from seed, every single one is unique. Each one is one of a kind. If you have 100 orchids, 100 lady slippers, each one's different. And for a really good one, the prices can go through the roof. $5,000 for a very dark purple lady slipper that's approaching black. That's how they're trying to breed black lady slippers, by making darker and darker and darker purple. Or if you have one with very long tentacles, prices can get crazy because you're the only one in the world with it. And since you can't mass produce it, you know, in a few years you can split it in two, but generally speaking, you're the only one with it. People get very attached to their lady slippers because they are family. Now there's two general types of lady slippers. There's the mottled leaf type, which have these beautiful leaves. And then there's the solid green leaf type, solid green leaves. But the flower itself is usually bigger and rounder. They can get quite large. And this is actually called a bulldog lady slipper, or complex, as opposed to mottled leaf. These colors can be whites and pinks and reds and burgundies and oranges. Fascinating. I can't stress enough that when you buy an orchid, you really want nice foliage, because that's really what the plant's about. You're drawn to the flowers initially, but then it's the foliage that tells you whether this plant's going to be around for a while. And when you have all this growth, see these leaves everywhere? All these new leaves can make flowers. So you could have 3 flowers on this next time. Nice rich leaves tell you the plant's very happy. Paphiopedilum. There'll be a quiz on spelling that later. Any questions about this? It's a cute little orchid, low light, very popular, long lasting, 2 months. Available year round in some form or another.